Wild horses and ludicrous heat could not keep me away from you, my amazing Israel Brief community. Shavua Tov, welcome to another week of news headlines right here on the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks. Now, if you're new to it, we bring you the top stories making headlines in Israel, and we do it every Monday to Thursday. So shalom to all of our viewers, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago to Kenya, to Nigeria, to Zimbabwe, to the United States, Australia, South Africa, and everywhere in between. It is day 647 since the atrocities of the 7th of October, the atrocities that the world seems to have forgotten, while the eyes of the world are on Gaza, at the expense, of course, at genocides around the world. They have forgotten the atrocities committed by Hamas and other terror entities sponsored by Iran in the Gaza Strip that saw the wholesale slaughter of over 1,200 people, including foreign nationals, mass rape, mutilation, and the kidnapping of over 250 people, of which 50 still remain hostage. Now, the only person who wasn't kidnapped on the 7th of October but still remains a hostage is Hadar Golden, who was killed in action during 2014's Operation Protective Edge. His body has been held in captivity by Hamas for now over 4,000 days. Without exception, we want every single one of them home now. And we really call on you guys, who I must admit, you're my mentors, not just of the week, of every single day, for standing with Israel and being a voice for our hostages wherever you live around the world. So let's take a look at those top stories, and we begin with a comment by President Trump, who says that he expects a deal will be reached within the week with regards to a ceasefire in Gaza and a release of hostages. Now, talks are currently stalled. Two of the main sticking points are Israel's withdrawal from the Gaza Strip. Hamas is demanding total withdrawal. I mean, guys, it's actually beyond me. The world accuses Israel of committing genocide. You have seen what Gaza looks like thanks to the human shield strategy by Hamas. Wouldn't you, as the leaders or the caretakers of the Gaza Strip, wouldn't you want a ceasefire immediately and surrender so you could get that for the betterment of your people? Why is nobody asking that? Well, Israel has put forward revised maps. Those too have been rejected by Hamas. Another sticking point is the issue of aid. Hamas want the United Nations and their aid agencies to distribute the aid, and Israel says no. The mechanism that is supported by Israel and the United States, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or GHF, is working, and aid is getting directly to civilians in Gaza, including thousands of tons of baby formula and whatever is needed for babies in the Gaza Strip, contrary to what has been reported in the mainstream media. Guys, again, I'm going to encourage all of you, if you are on social media, to follow the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. They are updating all the time. You can see what they are doing on the ground. I'll also encourage you to follow COGAT, COGAT. If you type in COGAT Humanitarian Aid in your browser, it will take you to their dashboard. You can see with your own eyes the aid that goes into the Gaza Strip. And the issue of the GHF is our audience question for the day. Meanwhile, the New York Times has accused Prime Minister Netanyahu of stalling the negotiations so that he can remain in power, an accusation vehemently denied by the Prime Minister, who says that he has no interest in power, just the protection of his country. And the New York Times have said they don't accept it, has no evidentiary support. So a real spat of words between the Prime Minister and the New York Times. Meanwhile, more worryingly, the mother of hostage Alon Ohel has called for him to receive immediate medical attention, because without it, the injuries to his eyes will result in him going blind. Yesterday was a historical day for the State of Israel as we launched our first national communication satellite, the Dror-1. It was launched aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9. It sounds all very Star Trek-y. This was built by Israel Aerospace Industries for the tune of $200 million and will power strategic and civilian communications for about 15 years. So, kol hakavod, I mean, this is just amazing. Israel, with all that we are facing, is still embarking on groundbreaking technology here on planet Earth and in space. Iranian state TV has said that President Masoud Pezeshkian was injured during last month's Operation Rising Lion. The president was in a meeting of the Supreme National Security Council in an underground bunker when the Israeli Air Force dropped 6 munitions at each entrance point, and he barely managed to escape, but he did manage to get to safety, and he blamed Israel, saying Israel will pay for that. Let's just remind Pezeshkian there is a ceasefire in place, and if you break it, we reserve the right to defend ourselves. And finally, and I could not love this story more, Indigenous leaders in Canada have called for the 4 concerts that are scheduled for Irish rap band Kneecap to be cancelled. They have said that Kneecap if Kneecap performs, they will violate Indigenous lands. This is Kneecap, who have shown their support for Hamas and Hezbollah and have outrightly made extremely anti-Israel comments. So I'll read to you a little bit from the statement from several tribal chiefs from various tribes and who have said this in their statement. We, Indigenous and First Nations leaders representing communities across Canada, are writing to express our deep concern regarding the upcoming October performances by the Irish band Kneecap at History in Toronto and the Vogue Theatre in Vancouver. These venues are located on the ancestral homelands of the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat peoples in Toronto, and the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh nations in Vancouver. My apologies if I have pronounced it incorrectly. Out of respect for Indigenous communities and the lands where these events are scheduled to take place, we are asking that both Live Nation and the Vogue Theatre's operator, the MREG Group, refuse to provide Kneecap with a space to openly promote discrimination. Kneecap has outwardly supported anti-Semitism, genocide, and the indiscriminate murder of civilians. Allowing them to play in Canada would be a stain on our country's reputation. Our concerns are grounded not only in the band's recent performance at Coachella, which included messaging that incited hate and bigotry, but also in publicly available videos and images where band members have expressed support for groups that Canada recognizes as terrorist organizations, including Hamas and Hezbollah. They are not promoting activism, but propagating violence, terror, murder, and hatred. Wado to our brothers and sisters of the First Nations who have spoken. Toda and Wado. And finally, let's get to our audience question. It comes from Marilyn in Sydney, who says, why does the UN hate the GHF? So just a reminder, the GHF is the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and it's a very, very important question because the United Nations virtually on a daily basis is putting out these horrific messages via social media to the mainstream media that the GHF distribution centers are places of carnage and murder, and Gazan civilians are being shot. This has been refuted by the GHF with the relevant footage to back up their claims. The reason why the UN are embarking on the smear campaign is that whatever the GHF fund is doing in Gaza is working. Yesterday, the GHF announced that they had distributed over 72 million meals to civilians in Gaza. This means that the UN aid agencies are not being hijacked and controlled by Hamas. The humanitarian aid, which should be free, is not being sold at exorbitant prices to civilians in order to provide financial support for Hamas terrorists. But it also means that Hamas is not able to control civilians in Gaza by withholding food. So this is why the United Nations, and everyone should be calling out the United Nations for this despicable preference of towards Hamas and to propagate people starving in Gaza. So this is the reason why the UN hates the GHF. So guys, the real facts on the ground, you'll get it here. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. More information is up there. Our YouTube channel is right here at the Israel Brief. Click on that red subscribe button if you like what you see. Let's grow our community. We are on Facebook at Lottel's site. We are on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks, on Instagram at Rolene_Marks. I can never remember which one is which. And on X at Rolene Marks. So guys, God bless you all. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you again tomorrow. And take care. Bye for now.